Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to Jacqueline Marie's Art. So, today I wanted to talk about a very interesting topic and also one that's really important that I feel that is not known by the general public or not known by enough people. And it could really help us to maneuver the sexual arena in a better way to better protect ourself and, our mental well-being. There's an article that was written some time ago, and it went like this. It says, sexually indulgent now, marriage ruined later. Maybe some of you have heard about it. Okay, so it's a pretty short article. So I'm going to read it and then I'll elaborate on it. Okay, so here it goes. It says, oftentimes those who preach sexual abstinence have been told to stop trying to impose their beliefs on others. But what if science could prove that sexual permissiveness does great damage to future sexual happiness? That's what Dr. Joe McHanley, I'm not pronouncing that right, Dr. Joe McHanley of the Medical Institute for Sexual Health in Austin says. New research shows that sleeping around now could ruin your chances of having a happy, fulfilling marriage later. Neuroscientists have produced a lot of information in just the last 2 years. This is new, he told CBN News. The sex researcher recently co-authored the book Hooked: New Science on How Casual Sex is Affecting Our Children with Dr. Frida McKissick Bush. McHanley said the book contains the most modern neuroscience available to humans today. Okay, chemicals create a powerful bond. Research using brain scans now show powerful chemicals are released during sex that should create a powerful, everlasting bond. When women are skin to skin with a man, their brains secrete the hormone called oxytocin that causes the woman to bond emotionally to that man. Men secrete a hormone called vasopressin when they're having that kind of intimate behavior. And that hormone has even been called the monogamy hormone for men. And it bonds them to the woman, McAinley explained. This oxytocin is overwhelming in a woman's brain that just a 20-second hug can cause a female to become bonded to a male. Both sexes get addictive dose of these pleasure chemical dopamine, as well as during intimate behavior. That works out well for couples out to create lifelong marriages and stable families. They're addicted to sex and babies result from that. They're bonded to each other, McHanley said. Sleeping around weakens that bond. But that bonding, which act like an adhesive tape or Velcro, is weakened when people tear away at its power by breaking off with a sexual partner and moving on from one to another. So when it does finally come time to bond permanently with a spouse, somebody you're married to, the ability to bond is damaged. The brain actually gets molded to not accept that deep emotional level that is so important for marriage, McAinley told CBN News. One huge result for the permissiveness is that, as McAinley explained, when they do marry, they're more likely to have a divorce than people who were virgins when they got married. How does this affect teens? It says teens in a sexual Wild West. Across much of American culture, this big scientific news isn't known and certainly isn't much communicated to the youths who these days live in a sexual Wild West. So the article ends there. Okay, so I personally believe that this is not just affecting our youth. This is also drastically affecting us adults as well. Because sex is widely glamorized and it's heavily sold to us in like everything. It's everywhere. Everybody is showing off, their sexual prowess, and it's beautiful to see. I could appreciate all of it, aesthetically, but there is a deeper meaning behind all of this, why it is so heavily heavily advertised to us. Look, I know a lot of people don't believe in God. I know there are some atheists and some could care less, but hear this. The Bible says that Satan, our greatest enemy, is the prince and the power of the airwaves. Okay? So this sexual advertisement that is so prevalent, that is so out there, that is always calling us, it is advertised to us for a reason. It is there for your self-destruction. It is also advertised so, like the article says, when you finally do get married, you will not be interested in your spouse. So listen, this works for men or women. It affects us both the same way. I know there's this popular saying to men, oh, do everything, sleep with as much people as you want before you get married. Get it all out of your system. This is one of the biggest lies that are sold to you men. It is a lie from the pits of hell and a lie from the one who created this lie. So this will not benefit you. I know a lot of men think, oh, I'm winning. I'm getting a lot of women. You're not winning anything. Actually, you're totally losing because you are slowly destroying your soul. I know you can't feel it right now when you're in joy, in that sexual la la land, but down the line through the years, eventually this will come back to haunt you. Nobody wants to get married, I guess, nowadays when they're young and good looking. Look, I see this mostly in the Black community where marriage is seen as a scourge. So I need to touch on this topic. But marriage is not a scourge. It is one of the best things that has ever happened to us. It's just not working for us because we don't know the formula to a good marriage. Okay, anybody that needs this information, jump in, have it for yourself. I'm just pinpointing my community for a few minutes here. All right. All the sex that you're encouraged to have when you are younger, this is when the payback comes, when you finally get married. Because everybody who's young and so what attractive or whatever, attracting a lot of the opposite sex, we're taken by that, and it makes us feel somewhat important, special, like we're some sort of God on earth. Okay, don't get taken by that foolishness. Okay, preserve yourself, save yourself. I know this is the opposite of what you've been taught, the opposite of what you know, and the opposite of what you have learned, but do it the opposite way. Preserve yourself. The more sex partners that you have, the less fulfilling your marriage will be, or whatever marriage you will have will not be much of a marriage. It will be relegated to a roommate situation. So I know this is heavy. This is a lot of information all at once. So like I was saying, a lot of men nowadays, I just want to touch on men then women. I hear a lot of this, oh, I'm winning, I'm that man, or whatever language that you guys use, I'm the boss. I'm getting a lot of chicks. I feel like the most important things on earth. Women don't mean anything to me. Well, that feels good for now. Everybody who feels this way now and who could care less about marriage or preaching non-marriage, eventually one day you are going to want to get married. Your mind could change. And it most likely will change. So here's the dynamic. Finally, you're married. Okay, you've sexed out yourself from, 15 to 45. That is a lot of years to be sexing a lot of different people, a lot of different women. So when you have sex with someone, whether it be a harlot, I don't want to, I'm not trying to insult anyone. I'm just saying, whether it's a lady that you pay her for her services, a girlfriend, or your wife, you become one with these people. All right. It does not matter what the person is in your life. One night stand, somebody you could care anything about, whoever. You become one with the person. What does that mean? You exchange something spiritually. They get part of your soul and you get part of them. So little by little, you start to fill up with all these different people. Sometimes you have sex with people, you can't even remember their name. It was like a one night stand and, you went on with your life. You probably wouldn't even remember what they look like if you saw them again down the line. So all those drunken one night hookups. So it affects you the same. You get a part of that person and they get a part of you. This is happening in a spiritual realm. It's something you can't see with your natural eyes. That's why you think that you're still normal when you have this behavior. And then, once you feed this beast of constantly sleeping with different people, it always wants to be fed. So you're really never satisfied anymore. And this addictive, destructive behavior follows you into a marriage that you will eventually have. Because all this preaching about, I don't want to get married, don't marry, down the line, your mind could change. And even the ones who are preaching this, they themselves would want to be married eventually. So when you finally get married, okay, boom, you're married. You will see that you will not desire your wife in that way. I mean, it could happen, but this is usually the route it takes. All right. So you won't really desire her. Having sex with her will be just like having sex with anybody else. It will have absolutely no meaning. And the marriage will fall into a lapse. And that's what we call a no sex marriage. So how does this work? You will notice that this beast that you've been feeding all along will lead you outside of your marriage to want to fulfill your sexual needs elsewhere. Your wife will be of no importance to you in that way. All right, so ladies, here we go. Same thing. All these different boyfriends. Okay, break up with that one. Oh my God, I'm in love or whatever. The emotional connect and bond and break, bond and break. So you're constantly damaging your soul. When you finally get your husband, you won't really want to have sex with him. So we have two married people who really don't want to have sex with each other. So this is where all of this sexual permissiveness leads to. It leads to a bad culmination in the end. It does not work out for us. All right. It does not lead to happiness. It leads to misery and destruction in the end. And along the line, it also leads a lot of broken hearts. Men get heartbroken in this too. And it leads a lot of broken-hearted women. And it leads a lot of broken-hearted children, because children can arise through these affairs. So how does a lot of broken-hearted children come about? Abortion. I know people think this is a normal thing, but whether we like it or not, abortion is murder. It is taking somebody's life. Oh, it's just a clump of cells. Well, that's how you and I started. And if that clump of cell wasn't there, then neither you and I would be here. We have to start somewhere. A big giant tree that you see outside started as a little seed. And now it's a big giant tree after 30 years. It's humongous. It's towering over. It gives us shade. It looks beautiful on the streets. So everything has to start somewhere. So we could lie to ourselves all day long and be like, oh, this is not a big deal. It's a huge deal. It's murder. It's taking someone's life, whether we like it or not. That's the reality of the situation. So when does somebody get pregnant? Right away after you have sex. It could take right away, 5 days, 1 day, depends. So yeah. And also, if you keep the child, fine. They will be living in a broken home without the structure of a mother and a father, and they could grow up in the juvenile system, meaning a curse falls over them where they're constantly in and out of jail. They're shot before their time, which leads to them dying before their time. They're in a gang. They're also into early sex, which destroys and derails their future. So you see, this has a lot of bad ending to it. I know sex is advertised in a very pretty package. Lots of hot women that looks awesome in short shorts and half naked this and see through that. And boy, is it beautiful. I'd be the first to admit it is absolutely beautiful. But all that glitters truly isn't gold. What's not advertised is the destruction that follows all this lust and deviant sexual behavior, down the line, all the heartbreaks, the broken marriage, the no need for marriage, because this is what all this is leading to, for people to not want to marry each other and have meaningful relationships, which also gives us kids a security, an edge of protection, to grow up in an intact home. So this is what this all leads to. And believe it or not, people who have sex in marriage, people who have waited for marriage, I mean men and women, to have sex, have the best sex and that are the happiest. I know this is not believable because we don't see that anymore, because nobody knows the importance of waiting to have sex. It's just like a sexual free for all. You understand? So this is a negative way to look at sex, and it's a negative way to treat yourself, because in the end the payment for this behavior will be brought to you, whether you like it or not, one way or another. um Also, what I want to say that, yeah, they keep saying to men, oh, do this, do that, get it all out. Guys, do not listen to that. That is straight from the devil's mouth to your ears. If you like self destruction, you don't love and care about yourself or your children, then that's the way to go. And I don't know anybody who wants to purposely destroy themselves. We're all living like this sexual wild, wild west because we don't know any better. All right, so do better for yourself. You will be intact financially if you save yourself for marriage. Because what does that mean? You will have your money in your marriage with your wife and to spend on your children. There won't be any outside baby mothers that has the right to take you to court to support your children. You understand? So this benefits you in so many ways. It benefits your finances. This is men and women. It benefits your mental stability. It benefits your health. It benefits your real, true, happy sex life with a deep connection with someone. And that's what everyone truly wants and need, whether they know it or not. We all would prefer to have meaningful, beautiful sex instead of these hateful, it's just awful, hateful sex with people we can't stand. Women you hate and don't have any respect for. And this is not the way to do it, okay? So keep this in mind, how this sexual wild, wild west is really taking a toll on us. All right, so like I said before, this channel is not here to bash anyone. These are just things I noticing that's taking place. And I think everyone could use some advice on this issue because it's really serious. It's affecting us in a really negative way. All right, so anybody that could use this, feel free to grab it. All right, so talk to you later, and thank you for tuning in to Jacqueline Marie's Art. Okay, bye.